Okay, let's kick it over to the women's division. So this week on Dynamite, we got a live promo from Deonna and Toni. So they came out, it was kind of a Sundance Film Festival style sit down in their like camp director chairs with Renee Paquette. They delved deeper into some of their shared history, revealing that not only have they been roommates, although I liked specifically that Deonna said, you came and lived in my house.
Yes.
A little lodger situation. Hello.
Little details. Yeah.
Love it. So not only have they been roommates, but they actually have matching ankle tattoos.
That was incredible. That
was
reveal.
incredible. And it's so important to me that the tattoos are bad.
Yeah.
It is like, it is
You could tell they were
essential.
22 when that
They are
happened.
fuzzy.
Yeah.
They are fuzzy.
They are fuzzy. They're nonsensical. I think it's a duck. It's a badly drawn
God.
duck. And it's so important to me that these girls have carried this ugly tattoo for years.
The fact is, that says it's real history.
Yes.
Okay? This is the real, you are going back to to the
Yes.
root of your whole deal.
This isn't a friendship of 2 years. You didn't get this tattoo when you were in your 30s, for sure.
No. This was a dumb decision you made together.
I hope it was on a New Jersey boardwalk.
Oh my God.
Yes. Oh my
Deonna,
Sing it,
Deonna
sister.
said, Toni, let me show you my turf.
I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering splendor. Tell me, princess, when did you last let your heart decide?
They looked at like the book in the tattoo place and they picked that duck out together.
Oh,
Giggling, clutching each other, being like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
We'll
Are we
remember
gonna
this
do this?
forever.
Are we really doing this?
No, we're not. Maybe we are.
So crazy. I fucking love them. So then this promo eventually gave way to some violence. Thank you. I think Leah corrected me. Deonna high kicked Luther. She kicked Luther and little Malay, and then everybody skedaddled. What'd you guys think of the promo?
I loved it, particularly because Toni did such a good job of telling people off for body shaming Deonna,
my God.
while also like still staying in character.
Absolutely. I want to be
the
clear,
line-
like, we popped for this so hard.
The line, you were recently body shamed, which is ridiculous because there's so much more to shame about you, is so funny.
And the way she delivered it when it was like, I believe you were recently body shamed, which had kind of like the tenure of like, so you've just like bought a house. Like it's like an instructional book. Like, so you've recently been body shamed.
It was so great. It made me feel so like I felt like a warrior for Deonna. I felt like a fucking like, yes, Toni Storm, you're my daughter too. Not that she's never been my daughter, but this really like I just felt so happy about both of them.
I felt so happy. And also Toni needs to keep saying things that confuse men. I will twist your lips so hard.
Oh my God.
You need an epidural? Like that's
was
for
messed
girls.
up. That was so
That's for
funny.
That's for girls.
That's her girl. I could not believe it when I heard that. I was just like,
Get away with that.
she's getting away with everything because I think that honestly, there are some of these lines that it's like either she's not running them by anyone, and if men heard them, they'd be like, "Is it offensive to tell her not to say that? Do I have to let her say that? Is it her right as a woman in the workplace to say that? I guess I'll say nothing. I guess I'll let her do it. Thank you, Toni, for pushing the limits."
Yeah, I hope she absolutely is playing it backstage and be like, "Oh, so what is the limits around like female stuff?
So I'm not allowed to talk about women's health? I'm not allowed to talk about women's health
I hope
now?
she is. God, I can't believe
I support you in everything you do. I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
I would do any. Right now, I'm like so high on Toni, where I'm like, she can do anything, and it's honestly just because they're keeping these segments so short and doing something different in every single one. It's just so good. And
like they did a split screen in this one, black and white on Tony's half and color on the other, and it was like it's so dumb, but it was so funny.
But it's so great because Toni is so uninterested in like how she looks. So you can tell like her entire body is like for the joke. She's not holding herself in a way where she thinks she's hot. And one of the people in our group chat today was like, I just think she's I forget what the exact words are. I'm going to murder it, but like she's reinvigorating what stories women are allowed to tell. And it's like, Yes, because in AEW, every single time they've ever gotten close to having a woman tell a story that's not, I'm hot and mad, they've backed away from it. And so, for this, it's so good for me to be like, neither of those women on this, and to be clear, they are both beautiful.
They're
but
absolute
beside the point.
Hunk City, okay?
Hunk City. But you could tell that wasn't important to either of them on the stage.
Yeah.
Deanna gives this vibe where she's like, yeah, I absolutely will throw hands in a second. And I won't look pretty while I'm doing it.
It's amazing.
It feels so good to watch. And I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe Allie, you said something about, I forget who, it was maybe Mariah May or somebody, but it was a person who's very, their presentation is very I'm being hot for men kind of. It's just a bummer. And it's yeah, because it's I don't I'm not mad at the woman. It's she's just existed under the patriarchy all of us. But looking at her makes me remember that I too am existing under the patriarchy and it sucks. So watching women actually just be really funny and mean and interacting with each other in a way that isn't about what men think about it at all just feels so good.
Yeah. And I will say that since then, Mariah May has been doing actually a lot of stuff that I'm I think that's so funny and fun and makes me like you way more than I thought I did. Then because the initial presentation just felt oh yeah, and women have to be hot in a certain way. But I'm so happy. I feel so high on a lot of what's going on in the women's division right now, where it just feels across the board, just people are just being weirder and more present and having more fun. It feels really, really, really good. And I know that
they got so much more time this week. It's we had multiple women's promos and we hadn't even gotten to the women's match yet. And then the women's match was not very storyline-y or whatever, but it's I don't care. It's if we've got storylines, we can have some random matches the men have,
Right. I will absolutely be way more forgiving of random matchups when it doesn't feel that's the only chance they have to get on the show.
Yeah.
Because there were so many promos. It ruled.
Yeah.
I think we can talk